Warning, the following program has been rated T for truth.
You can't handle the truth!
Oh, we think you can. Welcome to the Naked Truth Report with your host, truth warrior and mythbuster, Kathleen Wells. The place where we distinguish fact from fiction, where data is used to drive points home, and where Kathleen takes the position that Democrats and black politicians have destroyed black America. Welcome to the Naked Truth Report. Now, your host, Kathleen Wells.
Welcome to the Naked Truth Report. I'm your host, Kathleen Wells. You know, I love that part where I say where Kathleen believes that Democratic politicians have destroyed black America. You guys know I believe that. We know it's true. We know it's true. Why? Because we know the data. And data is everything. Data is everything. And what do we get from liberals? What do we get from Democrats? Is mere rhetoric. They never give us data. And I know data is the most important thing. Data and political history. Context is everything. I always say that. So I want to know, how do these Democrats, these talking heads, get away with it? How do they get away with being wrong forever? Ron Williams has been wrong 1 billion times. The Democrats have been wrong 1 billion times, and we still listen to them. So that something is seriously wrong when you listen to folks who've been wrong forever and a day, and they're still prognosticating. Ron Williams just said that, oh yeah, there's a third of a chance that the Democrats are gonna win the House, and there's a third of a chance that there's gonna be a blue wave during the midterm election. I mean, why are we listening to Ron Williams? Why are we listening to any of these folks? It's absurd. It's absurd. Anyway, as I said, I'm your host, Kathleen Wells. This is the Naked Truth Report, and I'm joined this evening by my VIP guest. Yes, my in-house VIP guest, Ronnie C. Wright. Hi, Ronnie.
Hi, how are you doing, Kathleen? I'm so happy to be here.
I'm so happy to have you. And this is what? August. This is August. And this month is I've completed my first year. We're going into the second year of the Naked Truth Report, and we want to do things that are sort of new and innovative. We want to evolve. So I'm delighted that we're going to be bringing to you the Ronnie C. Wright 1 minute. The Ronnie C. Wright 1 minute. So Ronnie, tell us about the 1 minute by Ronnie C. Wright. What will that be exactly?
Oh, I'm delighted to tell you about the Ronnie C. Wright minute. I believe everyone has a story. Therefore, what I bring to the show is I talk with influential people, and I give you 1 minute, I give you their story. That's what the 1 minute is all about. You're very busy out there, and so, hopefully we add some value with the minute.
Right. So Ronnie C. Wright is the founder of Minute University. That's interesting. Minute University. I like that. And he's the national director of trucking for Trump. So he was involved with the Trump campaign. Tell us your involvement with the Trump campaign, Ronnie.
Well, I'm continuing the re-election from a grassroots point of view, going across the country in all communities, but especially in black communities, and really giving them real insight on what the Trump-Pence ticket is all about and how it can benefit Americans, but especially black Americans.
Very good. And, actually, let me back up a little before I discuss, how the Trump campaign can benefit black Americans. I want to do some housekeeping, and I want to talk about the fact that we have a signed copy of the Dinesh. See, I almost forgot. Remember?
Yeah.
Didn't I tell you to remind me?
Believe me, I remembered.
Did you remember?
Yeah.
And actually, there are two things that you're supposed to remind me.
Yes.
Do you know the other one? Don't say it yet. But see, I get so immersed and involved that I forget what I'm supposed to mention. And there's certain housekeeping things that I should mention, and I almost forgot, but now I remember. So we're backing up a little bit. Back it up, reverse. And we're discussing the fact that we have a signed copy of the Dinesh D'Souza poster, the movie poster, Death of a Nation, and Dinesh D'Souza signed it. And, excuse me, we're going to be what is the word I want to use? You can bid on this, and the highest bidder will win it. And the bid, the money, we're trying to raise a fund. You guys follow me here, okay? We're trying to raise money to go on the Democratic Party Has Destroyed Black America tour. It's going to be a tour. Those of you who were at the pre-screening know that we had a panel discussion for American Black men, right? And so this tour will consist of Black men, the 4 that we had, and I have others. You know, we will rotate them and rotate the panelist, and it will consist of Black men only. I don't want Black children or Black women. I want Black men. I think it's very, very important that Black men, straight Black American men, I think it's very important that their thoughts, their ideas, their voice is heard in America. So we're going to have a tour, and it's the the Democratic Party Has Destroyed Black America tour. It's a national tour, but also, you know, I think big, because I think it's going to be a world tour.
It will be.
Yeah, because I want to go, you know, I want to go to like Africa.
Oh.
You know, because I want Africans to hear from Black Americans.
Yeah.
Because we're not African Americans. We are Black Americans.
That's true. Let's embrace that.
And they need to hear from Black American men, and they need to hear our story. This is very important. Anyway, so to bid on the poster of the movie Death of a Nation, signed by Dinesh D'Souza, go to, these are instructions, please. If you would like to bid on the poster signed by Dinesh D'Souza, go to thenakedtruthreport.com. That's my website, thenakedtruthreport.com. You can bid on the poster. The highest bidder will get the poster, and that money will go towards the fund for the national tour. The Democratic Party Has Destroyed Black America. That's
a big deal. When I just think about that, I'm so inspired by what you just said.
Are you going to bid on it?
Oh, you know, I'm just inspired.
You're inspired
because people out there have an opportunity to actually participate in the awakening of Black Americans, because hey, the wool has been pulled over their eyes.
The wool has been pulled over their eyes, and I think that America needs to hear from Black American men.
So true.
You know, and we know the walkaway movement. Black folks are not just Black folks, but people who were with all folks who were with the Democratic Party are now walking away. This is a good thing. So anyway, that's the like the housekeeping that I needed to take care of. So if you'd like to bid, the highest bidder, and I think we'll do this for like 3 weeks. I mean, I love my Truth Warriors and Mythbusters, and they all bought tickets to the pre-screening, and I know there's some movie buffs out there. I mean, a signed copy of the poster Death of a Nation is that's big. It's a collector's item.
Yeah.
And so I know I have some movie buffs out there that would appreciate having that poster, and your money, the highest bidder will go to our fund, and some people will appreciate contributing to this fund. So let's hope, we'll see how it goes. I don't know. You can never know. You never know. But we'll have this going on for about 3 weeks.
I see people out there looking at their walls and saying, wow, I want that piece in my collection.
And in particularly in Los Angeles, there are a lot of movie buffs.
Yeah.
And I think this will be a collector's item for sure. So, yeah, we're going to have the town hall coming up. That's another thing that I want to mention. The 2018 town hall, September 16th. They've started to play my promo. I'm co-sponsoring that event. We'll have a booth at the town hall, 2018 town hall, September 16th. Please come. All the heavy hitters will be there. Larry Elder, Mark Levin, Dennis Prager, Hugh Hewitt, Sheriff
David Clark.
Exactly.
Oh, man, one of my favorites.
And I'm missing Michael Medved, all of the heavy hitters, and me.
Yes.
But I'm not going to be on stage debating. the issues. I'm going to have a booth there for the Naked Truth Report. You know, I think I would like to be on stage, to be honest with you guys.
I hope so.
No, I'm not going to be honest. Those guys have been in the business 20, 30 years. You know, I don't like qualify yet, but, you know, I would like to talk about, I think I'm an expert on immigration. I know the numbers backwards and forwards. I've learned them from Dr. Claude Anderson. I have to give him kudos. But I could discuss immigration with anyone.
Yeah, the data.
Yeah, I know the data.
Yes.
And I know the political history. I can go back to the 1800s, okay? No one has anything on me regarding talking about immigration. I can go back to the 1800s on immigration, folks, okay? But anyway, so
I like it.
I like it too. So anyway, let's get back to you.
Okay.
My in-studio guest is Ronnie C. Wright. He's going to be providing, not this week, but starting soon, the Ronnie C. Wright Minute, where we'll have 1 minute of the latest news, so on and so forth. And I think we'll play it going into the break, and we'll start soon. Ronnie also attended the Dinesh D'Souza pre-screening, right?
Oh, man, that was truly exciting. That's one of the best movies I've ever seen in my life. I've never seen a horror movie. And this movie is the type of movie that I like, especially for young people, because when you leave the theater, you're thinking and you're not horrified. I mean, you're actually educated and entertained as well. And then you actually have a chance to discern what is going on in America. One of the best movies I've ever seen.
Well, the interesting thing about that, when you say that you're informed, is that I think that more Black Americans need to be informed about the history. And talking about the history, I got LBJ's delivered a commencement speech at Howard University's graduation in 1965. I took a few excerpts from, I edited it. I got a few excerpts from that. So let's take a listen to LBJ's address to the commencement, to the graduating class at Howard University's graduation. He gave the LBJ, that's Lyndon Baines Johnson, he gave the graduation speech in 1965. Can we take a listen to those excerpts, Jeff? Thank you.
Its influence radiating to every part of life is the breakdown of the Negro family structure. For this, most of all, white America must accept responsibility. It flows from centuries of oppression and persecution of the Negro man. It flows from the long years of degradation and discrimination, have attacked his dignity and assaulted his ability to produce for his family. This too is not pleasant to look upon, but it must be faced by those whose serious intent is to improve the life of all Americans. Only a minority, less than half of all Negro children, reach the age of 18 having lived all their lives with both of their parents. At this moment tonight, little less than 2/3 are at home with both of their parents. Probably a majority of all Negro children receive federally aided public assistance sometime during their childhood. The family is the cornerstone of our society. More than any other force, it shapes the attitude, the hopes, the ambitions, and the values of the child. And when the family collapses, it is the children that are usually damaged. When it happens on a massive scale, the entire community itself is crippled. So unless we work to strengthen the family, to create conditions under which most parents will stay together, all the rest schools and playgrounds and public assistance and private concern will never be enough to cut completely the circle of despair and deprivation.
Okay, that was LBJ, Lyndon Baines Johnson, delivering the commencement speech in 1965 to Howard University. That was just an excerpt that I edited out, that I had Jeff play. So that was in 1965. Okay, and in 1965, he said that 66% of Black families were two-parent. 66% were two-parent households. That was they were alarmed because in 1948 we had 87%. So by 1966 we were at 66%. They were alarmed, and we know we're here today now. We're in 2018. We see what has happened. We see the results. We see how they failed. We see how the Democrats have failed. Therefore, we can't go back. Anyway, I think that's important that I play that. And this also is letting us know why history is important. History is important. This data is important because today now we have 25% two-parent families, and people act like it's no big deal. They don't even talk about it. They've forgotten about Black Americans particularly. But so one of the things that I want to discuss with you, Ronnie, and I told you I wanted to mention this.
Yes.
I said to you that I felt that older Black men have failed younger Black men because they have failed to give them the necessary tools for life and living. And also, I know that Jim Brown came out and said that he is going to support Trump in 2020 and he's going to be ostracized from the Black community. So talk to me about this notion that Black men, older Black men, have failed younger Black men. Give me your thoughts on that.
My thoughts is it's a good question. It's a good question to raise in debate. I don't see that as fact, but I think that question should certainly be wrestled with, and we condition and sharpen our mind so that we can rise above that question. I look at the policies, for example, LBJ, who is not and was not, God knows my thoughts and my heart. I never did like this particular president and his policies. And in 1965, 76.4% of Black children were born to married women. In fact, higher than what he mentioned there. And that's according to yourblackworld.net, and there's other data out there.
You have 76%?
76.
Well, he said 2/3. That's about 2/3 is 66 and 2/3. So that's about right.
Yeah, and so his policies dropped a bomb. From my point of view, on Black America, and I think that's where we should look at it, not particularly Black older men. For example, I also made some notes. Something missing in the formula. The ABC formula, the primary formula, is that the left and Democrats, they're good to trot out the athletes, the actors, and the artists. I mean, you could, from Denzel to Underwood, you can name them all. But they forget about B. They forget about the businessman. They forget, like Reginald Lewis, who was one of the first Black business billionaires that bought Beatrice, who graduated top of his class of Harvard. Clarence Thomas, for example. And you forget about C, the career Black man. So the Democrats and the left, they give you the A of the formula, and then they drop this bomb that, okay, let's put the blame on the Black man. Well, a lot of that has to do with false teachers and false leaders. So I look at those that are responsible for their constituents. They're not delivering, yet their constituents continue to vote them in. And they're living high on the hog, like Maxine Waters, for example, John Conyers, people who've been there for 50 years. Yeah, it's good to say I've been there for 50 years, but then when you ask what legislation, what law did you drop on your constituents that helped them rise above where they are? And so I think the question, from my point of view, is a good question. I think it's one that we should not get emotional about, because where you're coming from is you want to solve a problem. And I think until we raise questions like that and wrestle with them and really look at the facts and the data, as you talked about, you'll see that the policies that the left have dropped on Black America and many Americans in the minority community has just been a bomb. And just look at Dr. King's Boulevard. You can go down any city and you see MLK Boulevard. You think that would be just the crown jewel of the city. And it's devastation, it's homelessness, it's boarded up buildings. Maxine Waters, I drove through her district yesterday. I'm thinking, instead of this lady, you know, saying impeach 45, she should be like, how many Black business owners at the airport that's in her district? Show some pictures of Black businesses owning franchises at the airport, you know, in that area. You don't see it. She's talking about impeach 45. What I suggest is that the American people in her district wake up and, you know, look at maybe some alternatives.
Right. So anyway, I think it's important that we play that LBJ commencement speech, because he said that the family is the cornerstone of society. Family is the most important thing in society.
True.
And so they were aware. This was in 1965. And so he was aware. They know, they're not stupid, okay? They knew in 1965 what was important and what needed to be done, okay? So that was 1965, but 1965 was the same year that the Immigration Act was enacted. So in other words, it's like good talk, it's fancy talk, it's the right word, but nothing has gotten done.
Excellent point.
Yeah.
Excellent point. They put that message out there, but with design underneath it to actually divide the Black family. They've done a great job at doing that. The policies and the design of those on the left, they've done a good job. You know, the results are there.
Yeah. So anyway, you know, I've asked this before, how do you assess the success or the failure of something? You look at the fruit that has been born from that something. So in 1965, they were concerned that there were only 66 2/3% two-parent families. And today we've got 25%.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, we can be done with those folks.
Yes.
We're done because you knew the problem. You've been talking about it since 1965 and you failed. The Democrats have failed.
That's a good point. Let's keep putting that out there. The Democrats have failed.
We've gone from 66 in the 40s we were at 87% two-parent families. In 1965 we were 66 2/3 two-parent families, and today we're at 25%. That's the end of the story. It's over, finished. We're done. Black folks have to be done with Democrats because they've had 50 years of utter failure. Anyway, I hear the music. We're going to go to the break. And when we come back, I'll open up the phone lines and you can talk to Ronnie C. Wright. Talk to him about anything you want to talk to him about. Ask him anything you want to ask him. And we're listening to one of my favorites, Joan Armatrading Straight Talk. I love Straight Talk. We'll be right back. I like that. To come out in the open sometime. Yeah. You've been singing somebody else behind my back. Yeah.
That was good.
Who ends up looking like trash. Straight talking.
That's good.
My respect. I believe I had your respect back. That's all changed. Now I find you're really silly. Straight talking.
Wow, that's good. That's good.
That's Joan Armour Trading, Straight Talk. I was in love with Joan Armour Trading when I was young because I love straight talk. And that's what we do here on the Naked Truth Report. We talk straight. And you can't get straight talk from these folks in the mainstream media, right?
That's so true.
We can't get it from the Democrats.
No.
It's not straight talk. I mean, I think Juan Williams is crazy. It's like, hello, man, what's your problem?
Yeah.
You know, as soon as LBJ's 1965 Great Society was, he's talking about the Great Society. We're concerned that black folks only have 66 2/3% two-parent families. Here comes the Immigration Act of 1965. That's insincere.
And Mrs. King talked about that as well.
Yes, she did.
Yeah, they hid the letter that she wrote to Congress.
They did hide it.
Yeah, she had concerns.
Okay, you know, I want to talk about, I see this comment on my Facebook page. I love it. He said, you cannot, this is from Clifford Laurie, you cannot have strong families in a socialist society. Now, we know that's true.
That's true.
How are you going to have it? Because the state is the family. So it was sort of like a conundrum, or it was sort of like a paradox. The state is the family in a socialist society. So in some words, it's like double speak. It was not straight talk.
Yeah.
We want straight talk, right, Americans? So should we go to phone calls?
Hey, I'm with you. That sounds like fun.
Okay. So let's see. Let's take George in Los Angeles. Hi, George. Welcome to the Naked Truth Report.
Hi, Kathleen.
Hi.
Hi. I really enjoyed listening to the detail and the timing of LBJ's speech and his, announcements of the Great Society. I was just a young teenager then, and then all of this war on poverty and everything. But then, as I've been reading, I realized that 50 years before that, this kind of communist progressivist business snuck in there with, at the beginning of the century, during World War I, was Woodrow Wilson, and he was a racist, and his efforts and the things that he did was really responsible for getting Jim Crow laws going. And he got whereas Theodore Roosevelt had black people and Jewish people on his cabinet, this man, Woodrow Wilson, segregated all black people out. But black people at that time, I saw some figure where they had almost 9 out of 10 homes that had two-parent families, and white families were down there at the three-quarter mark.
Right.
And it just started to decline after that. And as I was telling the screener, I have a photojournalism, book, and it has a picture from 1926 of 5,000 KKK members in their hoods and sheets marching down Broadway in New York to the Democratic National Convention. And that was the year that they removed the anti-lynching plank out of the Democratic Party platform. And so, we see the start of these problems way back in the century before LBJ. And really, the only person that really did a lot to help get things integrated, or to look at people as people, was Eleanor Roosevelt.
Oh, well, I don't know about that, but I do want I want to encourage people to go on YouTube and listen to the entire speech.
Yes, indeed.
Yes,
because he was the guy that was down there with all those Southern guys. And he was the guy that was supposed to get John Kennedy's legislation through. This is why I pulled him for vice president. But instead, he did this thing of really impoverishing and wedding people to the government, like you said.
Oh, depend on the government. Is that what you mean?
Depend on the government.
Yeah,
That's right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, please go and listen. It's on YouTube. It's LBJ's commencement speech in 1965 before at Howard University. Howard University, all Negro, you know, we almost want to go back to being called Negroes because this African American business, it wasn't African immigrants at Howard University. It wasn't these, you know, this is what's up. We were Black Americans, okay? And when you call us African Americans, that's political suicide, because you are now lumping us with African immigrants, or Blacks from the Caribbean, or Blacks immigrated here from Haiti or wherever. Okay,
that is correct.
And we are the only. Okay.
Yeah.
What it did is also what it also did is it.
Thank you, George. Thanks, George.
It reduces the economic opportunities. You know, I'm entitled, you're entitled. I expect my inheritance from America. I'm an American. And I expect to get everything that's promised in that Constitution. And I think everyone out there, especially Black Americans, should realize that you have a right to everything that's promised in that Constitution equally. So you're not less than anyone else. So let's expect it and get people in there that will produce.
Right. And it's the 13th and 14th and 15th Amendment is the birthright of Black Americans who are the direct descendants of slaves. And that birthright by the Democratic Party was given to illegal aliens and all these other groups. Okay, folks, transgenders and the LBGT and whatever else, right? So we know this is why history is important, and this is why you must know history so that you have content in which to springboard off of. You cannot have, I like this what Clifford said, Lori, you cannot have a strong family in a socialist society because the state is your family. Okay, let's take a call now from Bill in Los Angeles. Hi, Bill. Welcome to the Naked Truth Report. Hi, Bill.
Daryl or Bill?
Bill. What's your name?
Daryl, Miss Hall. Yes, I just wanted to comment on something you was discussing, and I wanted to use a brief biography of my life as a young man growing up in South Central. I think a majority of our problem as Black people in this country is not necessarily political, but it's more psychological because the forces that be the nefarious forces of the Democratic Party has used psychological indoctrination against us for so long that it's so entrenched in our system.
Amen, Daryl.
We solely depend upon. I mean, they got these iconic figures, you know, Conyers. You know, they draw up and try to blow up Maxine Waters, you know, with the Hollywood special effects, and then the Kennedys, and you know, with all these iconic figures, and then they telling us that we've been victimized. You know, these is our savior, you know, and forget about our circular, you know, our religious idea, you know, our philosophy, the circular, you know, man-made synthetic, you know, fabrication that we are victim and we need them to champion our.
Oh, did we lose you, Bill?
Daryl. Yeah, Daryl.
Oh, his name is Daryl?
Mm-hmm, Daryl, South Central.
Oh, hi, Daryl. Did we lose you?
Yeah, you made a good point.
Oh, can you hear him? Oh, no, I think he dropped off. We missed, his name was Daryl. We missed Daryl. He dropped off. But what was he saying?
Oh, man, he talked about the
psychological.
The psychological.
Talk about it.
Daryl's right on. I mean, he's down there on the ground. He's a grassroots warrior, and we need more Daryls to tell the truth to power because people are not listening to the Daryls of the world. And they're giving it straight. He's absolutely right. Manufactured things are causing the problems. And if they listen to people, and you talked about self-reliance, you know, ownership, those things have been wiped out of communities like South Central.
Mm-hmm. You know, and this is another thing that you and I discussed, Ronnie, is that the manipulation of the mind.
Yes.
And I think that's what Daryl was talking about. For example, I can give you an example. How the mainstream media controls the mind of the people through vocabulary, through language. The mainstream media refuses to call illegal aliens illegal aliens.
Yes.
They call them immigrants. Now, we know, everyone knows that an immigrant is not subject to deportation. But an illegal alien, and this is the term that is used in the legislation. This is the term that is used even in it may be in the Constitution. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So illegal aliens are they're specific as to who they are. There are people who are not in the country legally.
Right.
But the media refuses to call, I swear, the media calls them undocumented immigrants. They call them immigrants. Everyone is going around talking about how illegal aliens are immigrants. They are not immigrants. But this is controlling the people through the media.
Yeah, and it's putting so much pressure on Black communities, especially Black infants. 60 out of 100 babies each year die, and they're Black. I mean, 60 out of 100 babies. And why is that? Pressure, stress. And as Daryl talked about, the psychological warfare that's being placed on women that are giving babies, many of them out of wedlock. And so there's an opportunity for, as you say, older Black men, but all men to stand up and be men, and certainly look at the policies of people that are in there and say, hey, you're not benefiting my family.
Yeah, well, basically, you know, the civil rights era with the LBJs and the Martin Luther Kings and the this, that, and the other, they went the wrong way.
Yes.
They went the wrong way. They spoke good, they spoke fancy, but at the same time that they were enacting civil rights legislation, here comes the Immigration Act of 1965. That's putting Black America, you see, this is about Black America, folks.
Yeah.
This is because we have been in this country 460 years, right? Everything is about Black America, to be honest with you. It's about Black Americans and white Americans reconciling. That's it. But yet now we're on to other stuff. We're on to illegal aliens. We're on to 66 genders. Do you see how we have completely gotten off course? We have gone the wrong way, and the Democrats have gone the wrong way, and therefore, you know, we have to let them go.
And it's by design, because the leaders, the so-called leaders, these false teachers and false leaders, they just preside. They don't lead. And Detroit, for example, Detroit is on the largest body of fresh water in America, yet they allowed someone to become mayor. The city went bankrupt. They used this puppet. Now you have the powers to be buying up all of that land that used to belong to Black Americans who were self-reliant.
Right. Okay, so I see Daryl, you're back. Hi, Daryl. Daryl, you're back. Welcome.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. You got cut off.
Hey, I wanted to use this as an example. Say, for instance, an individual such as yourself, a very intelligent, articulate, intellectual Black woman, is concerned about the plight of people in this city. The media would raise a Maxine Waters to a statue of a queen before they do you any justice. And that's what I'm saying. At the level that I reside in, you know, on the streets of South Central, I'm always telling my homies, because I used to be a gang member, I used to be a Crip, I'm always telling my homies the differences and the disparity between the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. And we've been brainwashed so thoroughly to accept the narratives of the Democrats, so where we you know, because of our parents and parents before them, embrace that ideology, you know. But, you know, like I tell a lot of youngsters out here on the grind, look, man, you need to scratch the surface and find out the truth. Because once you find out the truth, because I used to be, when I was in the penitentiary, I used to read Jacob R., read Transfinance, Records of Earth, and I was actually believing that this was the worst country on God's green earth until I got a little older and a little savvy, and, you know, and experience been my best teacher. And my whole metamorphosis, it didn't change miraculously, and I feel a lot better as an individual.
Now, this is a successful Black older man.
Yeah. Well, I'll have you on my panel, Daryl, you know, because I would like to have...
Before, when you had the other brother that spoke with that was with Candace Owens' organization.
Oh, Brandon Tatum, exactly.
Yeah,
he was on.
The last time I talked to y'all together.
Yeah,
and I think you got another gifted young man with you today, and that's what we need. Because Brothers like me, I'll be 60 years old. I done been to the penitentiary, I done gangbang, I done did it all, but I don't do that no more. You know, I'm not a sociopath no more because I feel like I was part of that environment that was created by the liberals.
Right, right.
And it put me in a precarious situation where I reacted unfavorably to my development as a man. And, you know, it was misplaced aggression. I was inadvertently taking my frustrations out on the wrong source because I didn't know how to manage my masculinity. I come from a one-parent household. You come from a one-parent household. You didn't know how to manage your masculinity. Thank you, Daryl. I agree with you. You should be on my panel. We're going to have the new, let's see, the Democratic Party Destroy Black America tour. And folks out there, please call it. Go to my website, thenakedtruthreport.com, and bid on the Dinesh D'Souza Death of a Nation poster signed by Dinesh. And let's take one last phone call from Mike in LA. Hi, Mike.
Hi, Kathleen. Hi, Ronnie.
Hi.
This country is going to hell, and I'll give an example. It's a different type of socialism than Venezuela. Venezuela is government-owned, and where they're not giving out hand entitlements to people, they're not who have a lot of babies, where there's not a father, a legal husband in the household. Here, there's incentives to not get married and have lots of babies, and this is not just endemic in African American households. This is endemic in across the board. However, you see, you could look at the percentages of married African American households in the 60s and white, and you can see how it's gone from 60-70% down to 25%, and how many children have no fathers in the household. And the more, and what I'm going to say is very harsh, but there should be some method that after 2 children are in a fatherless household, that there's no more incentives being given to have more children. And, you know, it doesn't sound very pretty, but, you know, why should people that are working, you know, pay for men who do not want to get married, who just want to, you know, have children?
Well, you know, if there were opportunities, this is the thing. This is why Trump is a good thing. Because if black men had money, they would get married. They don't get married. They leave their family. They leave the women. They leave the children because they can't provide for them. They can't afford it. And this is why Trump is a good thing, because he's bringing down the unemployment rate of black men.
True.
Okay? Black men will get married to black women if they can provide for their families. And this is why I want to tell people to listen to the entire speech that Lyndon Baines Johnson gave at Howard University. Because that's what he said in the speech. When a man can provide for his family, he will be responsible. But the Democratic Party put black folks in a conundrum. They didn't give them jobs. Okay? It's you couldn't get jobs. Black folks can't get jobs in LA. Okay? That's just the truth of the matter. I said 80% of the construction jobs, we had the building inspector on the show, 80% of the construction jobs in Los Angeles are held by illegal aliens. We are 40% of the homeless in Los Angeles. Why aren't black men working construction jobs?
Good question.
Well, I've heard a lot of black men on the radio saying that they were not able to get jobs unless they spoke Spanish, because their superintendents were Latino, and you know, this does not speak well of the companies that are doing the hiring.
But this is what they've been doing. The same year that they
decades.
Exactly the same year that they enacted the Civil Rights Act of 1965, the same year the Immigration Act. So you're never giving black Americans, and it's about black Americans and white Americans reconciling. That's what America is about, not these other groups. Anyway, That's what America is about. It's about Black Americans and white Americans reconciling. And the Democratic Party has done everything to not make that possible. That's how they sustain themselves. Anyway, we have what, 1 more minute? And I want to thank you, Dave, for calling into the Naked Truth Report. Oh, thank you, Mike, for calling into the Naked Truth Report. This is my guest. My VIP in-studio guest is Ronnie C. Wright. I'm delighted to have him.
Thank you. And
we're going to start with going into the second year, the Ronnie C. Wright Minute.
Yes.
So when we go into the break, he's going to give us a 1 minute synopsis or his thoughts on what's going on in the news, what's important, what we should know about. So it's going to be a good thing. They should be coming up maybe next week, you think?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Okay, very good. We have 1 minute left, and I want to remind my folks to I want to remind the Truth Warriors and Mythbusters to go to the nakedtruthreport.com, nakedtruthreport.com, and place your bid. I know out there in Los Angeles, I have movie buffs. Place your bid for a signed poster of the Death of a Nation, the Death of a Nation poster signed by Dinesh D'Souza. This is a collector's item. The highest bid will get the poster. So go to the Naked Truth Report. There's the music. Thank you for listening to the Naked Truth Report. My guest was in studio VIP guest Ronnie C. Wright, and I'm your host, Kathleen Wells, and I'll see you next week. Thanks. Bye.